Guys, welcome back to my craft room and back to 10 on the 10th. So for today's card set, I did want to use the new Joann's paper. They have the cut-aparts out right. Well, I don't know if yours will, but I found the cut-aparts. And of course I cut them apart so you can't see the sheet. But if you watched my small Joann's haul, I did show it in there, but I will show you a few of the pieces. But it's got this really cool farmhouse, it's like buffalo checks, it's actually music notes as well, and there's also pinks in here. So it's really kind of exciting. It's a very interesting paper set for sure. I only saw the cut-aparts for it. I don't know if it has any other coordinating papers, but I did get a piece of this Coordinations pink and white polka dot, and that's what I used to go along with it. And it's got this really cool texture to it. I think it really added to that farmhouse aesthetic. And I also brought in a cozy holiday sentiments. I actually got this on Amazon, and it is like 100% Ray Dunn font. It looks so much like it. It's crazy. So this is by Waffle Flower. And I think this is going to be my go-to Christmas sentiment at least this year. Oh my gosh, probably forever. Because all of these sentiments are so cool. They're like kind of your, oh, what is it called? Not the essentials, but they're just the original kind of Christmas sentiments. Oh, and it also has Happy Thanksgiving in it, so that's awesome. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into the cards. I did, I think, 3 different styles. So there's the Have a Cozy Christmas sentiment right there. And I played on all of the pinks and the whites is kind of what I ended up going for. So we've got that poinsettia and then the music note paper. Well, it's a border strip, so right down there. And then we had the border strip of different ornaments, and it also came with this little guy in that border strip. And I ended up using all of the ornaments, so I can't really show you those together, but... And then I pulled in some pink. They're kind of more like a fuchsia, but it goes pretty well. And then here we have this one. So the only sentiment that's kind of, well, it's this one that's stacked, and then there's also this one and the Winter Wonderland, which I didn't want to use the Winter Wonderland, so I did the Jingle Bells, and I figured it worked pretty well with the music note paper. And then I needed something over here, and the pinks just weren't really setting, the reds weren't setting, so I decided to go ahead and just stamp, and I think that gave it a good contrast, because you have the dark and the dark, and then you kind of have a dark line with that dark red and green it's going through the center as well, so I thought that paired very nicely. Using those ornaments again. All these cards are pretty focused on these ornament pieces because I just really wanted to use those. I figured they would just make such great cards. The other pieces are very much more scrapbooking, but I figure I'll go ahead and use the rest of this kit. Well, oh my gosh. The rest of these cut-aparts, this paper pad. Oh my gosh, why do I keep wanting to say this paper? I mean, it's just one sheet, but I bought 4 of them, so this paper, really, just one piece of paper, but I'm using doubles. So I'm going to finish off the rest of those for Follow Last of the Month. Okay, so this one I did the ornaments again. It has this really pretty pink paper in the background. Oh my gosh. So I just paired it with a piece of white as a mat behind it, just so it pops a little bit more. And then down here on the bottom I have the poinsettia paper, and I was thinking about matting this with the white as well, but it looked just a little bit better without the white. And then I also thought about just doing the sentiment on a piece of white on top. Didn't really like it, so I went ahead and just stamped it on the poinsettia paper. I think that turned out so cool. And then I was like, now it looks kind of, you know, off a little bit, so I tried to find something to go here, and I just couldn't really, the red sequins weren't looking good. I didn't have enough of the pink dots to do 4 of these cards, so that couldn't go on there. And so it was just like nothing really worked, and then I put these on there and I'm like, yeah, I like that. It gives just a subtle amount of extra so it doesn't actually take away from the ornaments, which are your focal point, but it also draws your eye to your sentiment, which kind of does get a little lost in that background paper. So it needs that little extra something next to it so you can look at it. You actually notice it. So those are my 10 cards for the 10 on the 10th. I think they turned out so good. I love the farmhouse style, so whenever I can like venture out into different styles of farmhouse, I think that's just so good. And I think that's why the Rae Dunn sentiments are gonna be just, I'm gonna be using them a lot. Because then pretty much anything looks farmhouse as soon as you put the Rae Dunn on there. So alright guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me for 10 on the 10th. I hope you guys are having a crazy day. Go crazy, not bad crazy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!